December 27, 2023. It happened this night. I don't know if it was something with this visiting I got the night before, when Spirit called me by my not old but new name, Anna. And it seems someone was talking to me this night from heaven, and it maybe was her, but I don't know. It was this kind of I was in a place where it was a discussion about what's going on, and in those talking that I have had sometimes, is it not a special voice that coming through? It's only like talking to me, lots of spirits, and it come to now this night at about 2:30 in the night. 2:30 in the night. It was like a conclusion of what I have going through, what my life have been about, and I felt me calm and in rest to know what my life was about. And it was what I was thinking it have been, but it was confirmed by heaven that it was in that way. And it's hard for me to tell you what they were saying, because this was a spirit thing. And I have told you before that when it is in a spirit and I am still sleeping, I am not awake, but they are talking to me in a special place where they can take me to one special place, and I suppose it's in heaven I was, and they were talking to me. And is it that it's very fragile, what they are saying in the spirit? It's going away very fast. It doesn't stay in the brain. It's just for that moment. But what I come to find later on, after I wrote a little on Facebook to remember this night, and after I have sent it to my Facebook profile, then I understood that in heaven there is only one day and no nights, only days, only one day. And when I got visit of this higher priest in August 2000, everything that was telling me and was done in that evening when the higher priest come, and later on God come and talk to me. The higher priest was talking to me about what have happened in my past, and God was telling me about the future that have not happened yet in that time. And everything they were saying, and it had coming true, everything. And I got the knowledge about my childhood and where I'm coming from with my DNA, and everything of this was told me that evening when the higher priest come and later on God. Everything they were saying, it was like one day. And it's everything is it about what I know today. 23 years later, I come to know it, and this night come the conclusion about my life, why I was sent down to this world, to this planet from God. And I knew already in 2002, when I was in Virginia Beach in the United States. I was to the Quaker church because I didn't have any food, I didn't have any money, and I didn't have a place to stay if I could not come into a shelter till the night, so I could sleep in the night in a shelter. I didn't have anything. And I come to the Quaker church, and the woman, she said that they didn't have anything for me, but they had papers apply for food or help in the church. And I was thinking like that. I have moved around 26 times in my homelessness in the United States. I was moving very often, and I was thinking, if they should read my papers and then call me to the church if they wanted to give me something. I am maybe is far away, many miles away, maybe not in the state. I was thinking, but I signed under those papers, and then the question was that make it happen. The question was, what are you doing for God? It says in God's work. What are you doing in God's work? And then I was started to write. I'm going to write a book. When I'm coming back to Sweden, I'm going to write a book about my life as homeless in the United States. I was thinking I should say that, but I only come to write that I should write a book. And then suddenly I heard a voice in the air. No, it's not what you should do. The voice was saying, And the voice was telling me that you are going to write a book about life. And I didn't know so much about the Bible, so I didn't know really what it was, the book of life. Then another voice come a little later, in the book of death. And I know today that is, if you have done what you should do in God's work, what God wants you to do, then you are in the book of life. But if you don't do what God tells you to do, and what you see and hear, and you do nothing, you don't do any action on it, you are written into the book of death. And I didn't understood it, but I know it today. Because I was thinking in that time in the Quaker church, I was very down, depressed. But when I heard that voice from heaven, I'd be happy again, because I knew I did work for God by test people, what they are doing when they see that I was the least one of people in the United States. And I was not drinking or doing drugs or was mental sick. I was there because God sent me to United States. And I test people in that way. I didn't do bad things. I was walking homeless and without any money to test people what they were doing when they saw me and what they heard from what I was saying to them, what they did, and they did nothing. I get help a little about the finger on one hand, but it was not really help, because they should help me with somewhere to live where there was no crazy people, that this was a safe home for me and help me to start my life in United States. But no one did it. I get some money from people sometimes, but it was in 3.5 years I got money about 4 times. Or those other times to survive. Those people that I know from homeless people, they come to me sometimes in the street and they say to me that there is a church that have food that we can eat. So I go to that church and get food. And or if they give away bags of molded greens, or the Food Lion gave food away that they couldn't sell because it was out of date. It was bad food that we got, and sometimes we go into the trash cans and check out if there was something to eat. And I didn't do those real trash can that people took their trash. I go to dumpster behind the stores, because there they could have taken out molded bread and we could eat. And one time I remember there was a whole chicken in a plastic, inside plastic, but you don't know how long it have laying there in the dumpster, and what they have done before they place it there. And but I think I had a real stomach to eat trash, and maybe is it a little of that problem I have today with my body, because I eat bad food in 3 years like that. I live with a Muslim family for 1 year, but the mother, she put salt into the food. After they have eaten, she put salt in the food, so I couldn't eat it. But I had money when I work for them, so I go and get me some hamburgers sometimes and eat, so it was okay, the food. But I don't eat the salted food. And sometimes she wasted food by let it stay on the oven and be black of waste. And so it was a problem with the food. And when I was to the shelter, mostly of the time we got from Food Lion, but it was cakes. It was sweet. And so I eat very much sugar, and it could have killed me. And so it was about what they did to me. And I know some of those people, many of them, have passed away today. So they have swept away from earth. And and then this belonged to what was telling me in the Quakers church, that some people was into the book of life and some in the book of death. And I never got any help from Quakers because I moved away, too far away from them. So I didn't have any address. I say to that woman that I don't have any address. Then she say, you can come by here and ask if you have got some help, she say. But I couldn't do that as I didn't have a car and I was far away. And then also I remember that she said that I don't have any food, me either, and I have 3 kids that need to have food, she said to me, and she complained so very much to me. And I have, just before I come to the Quaker church, I had got some biscuits and some candies from a church, and a little. So I took those crackers and the candies and gave it to that woman to bring home to her kids that have no food. And I'm wondering if she only lie about it. I will never know. God knows what's going on. and those in afterlife is it that know everything what's going on. If you lie, they know you lie. And so it was about the conclusion they told me this night. It was that I was sent from heaven to earth to test what's in this world, what people are doing to them, the least one. And I was sleeping on the floor. I was never out and sleeping, but I was sleeping on the floor without any blanket or anything. But I was inside a home at least, and that was church people, and they gave me the floor to sleep on. And I sometimes I didn't want to sleep on the floor because it was fleas in the floor. And so that was, they were talking about this night. They make me understand this. Why? Because people have asked me sometimes, if you're going with God and God has sent you here on earth, why do you suffering so much? Why are you suffering and hurt, and people have done many things on you? And it have belonged to the test from God, because it have always been people that have seen me be abused, be hurt, and be raped, and things that it's bad things on my way, and they have not done anything. It was one woman, she was a girlfriend to a man that live in that house I have talked about in one chapter about this, the devil's house. And she saw bad things happen to me, and she took me with her to Duke University because she was going to do an examination to be doctor, and she was staying there 3 days, and she took with me there, and she took me to her parents' house also, and I suppose that she wanted to ask them if they could let me in, to not need to come back to that evil house, and they didn't wanted it. So she did some good things. She didn't have the money to help me as to let me stay in a home with her, because she lived with her parents, and the parents say no. And it was black people I was with most of the time in the United States when I was poor, homeless. And they tried to help me, but the white people, they didn't like it. I think they thought I have done bad things, and they hate that a white person should be like that. And I was not. They could have asked God if they had been close to God, but they didn't. And most of the time they only say, I will pray for you. That's the only thing they say. And then they forget me. It will not help me at all. So this night was the conclusion of my life. And it couldn't be that way. I don't know about my children, but it was because I was led to be with bad men. And the children get the DNA of the father also. And my DNA was not right either. As I come to know my parents much more with my DNA, and I have not thinking deeper about my parents. I only go with the parents, and I knew my brother and my adopted sister was evil and stay away from them. But I never was thinking about my parents like that. And I was thinking today before I do this recording, my mother, she was born 1910. And in that time they were very much about the church. And before I met God, because I had not met God when she lived, but we were talking a little about heaven, and I have told you that she said that the one that is going to heaven first, that one will come back and tell the one that lives, because we didn't know. My mother was old, but I could be killed before her. And she said that the one that is in heaven first, that person will come back and tell if there is a life after death, because she didn't know. We didn't know, as we have not been dead. And I have been dead when I was a baby, but I was not thinking like that, as I didn't know anything about God. And so she said that that one will come back and tell there is a life after death, if it is. And my mother have coming back, and sometimes. Last time she was coming back in Jerusalem, now in December. She crushed like plastic glass crashing. And then I check out the time, what time it was. And it was when she died at 3 o'clock in the night. And so I knew she come with me to Jerusalem. As I know today that I'm coming from the Jewish background. And she knew it also in some way. And she knew it after life also. And so she she have told me there is a life after death. But then I have been in contact with afterlife. It started about, I think it started in 2005. That I remember that night when I wake up and there were sitting, it looked like a man, and he was telling me that he loved ice cream. I don't like ice cream, and but he said that he loved ice cream. I don't know why he say that. And another time I come home in 2005, there were a woman sitting in my sofa, an old woman sitting in my sofa that was not in this life. It was a spirit that was sitting in my sofa. So it started there, 2005. And they tried to talk to me, but I didn't understood. I thought it was demons, evil things. And of course it was, because I didn't know God so very much. So I started to ask God to protect me from those that come into my apartments. But then in that same time, it was kindly, loving, that wanted to talk to me. But I was scared, like many other that are scared if they hear or see something that they don't understand. But then, when I did my DNA, when they told me in Jerusalem 2016 to do my DNA, I come to understand that it was because this man come with a sign, and he say his name was John or James Walker, and I was thinking, I don't have anyone that the sure name is Walker. I don't have anyone. And so I didn't understood why he gave me that sign in the spirit way. But then when I did my DNA, I saw I have lots of walkers, because they come from Mormon church. The Walkers was married to Joseph Smith, and then got lots of kids. I have very much Walker in my family tree. And then I understood that they live after life, because he come with a sign. He come first with a sign, and I couldn't read it. And he went away and come back after some seconds with another sign, and come closer to my face so I could read it. First I read it like I am walking, and because I didn't see what he wrote. But then he wrote a better way so I could read it. So I knew he was from afterlife. And then I start to understand with my DNA that they are still alive in afterlife and want to teach us and I have done this with a podcast because they say to me that I should do a podcast so they could talk to you that listen here, and talk it to me, of course, also. So the conclusion this night, I can't say the details of the talking, but the conclusion was that I was sent here to test people, and I test my two children also, and they don't pass it. But I know there is a family in heaven for me that didn't come with me now. They are in heaven and waiting for me. Because, like I have said, I have been here on this planet. This is the 7th time I am here. So somewhere do I have a family? Maybe not in every life I have had, or in every life I have had, and they are together waiting for me, and they are the same spirit, all of them. But they have been with me here on earth sometimes, if you understand what I'm saying, that they could also have coming back to this planet and being, they could have been your children, even if they are your mother in heaven. If they're coming down with you to this planet to help you in some way, they are children, they are born of you, but they could have been your mother, your parents. They could have been in heaven, but here on earth they are born again, and they are your children. And some of you, the older people that listen at this, you are saying, and I know some people saying, she have an old soul. Are they saying about their children? And they know it inside their heart, that those were maybe your older sisters, your parents, or they were older than you when they passed away into heaven, going into heaven, but coming down to earth, they take the body of a child. I feel some of you understand this. She have been an old soul. I have heard it sometimes also in United States. But you don't know what it means. But now you understand it. They are born again. So they have been around more than once and pick up things. And they sometimes it's coming memories to them because they have never been dead for real. Their spirits have lived the whole time. So the conclusion was, the important to tell you today, it was that conclusion was that I come down to earth to test you. If you belong to the book of life, or if you are in the book of death. Thank you for listening, and Happy New Year if I don't recording anything before next year.